Respect. It's more than a word. It's an underlying principle of success and humanity. In the U.S. Army, respect is one of our foundation values. It's the reason we can overcome every obstacle and defeat every foe. So if you're interested in joining a team where respect is earned every day, consider joining our team. And now, in addition to earning respect, you may qualify to earn up to $40,000 in bonuses. To find out more, go to goarmy.com/bonus or call 1-800-USA-ARMY. Paid for by the U.S. Army.
Blog Talk Radio.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, Executive Producer of the Female Solution Radio Show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, bonjour. In Spain, hola. In Italy, ciao. In Egypt, ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, akwaba. In Nigeria, peleo. In South Africa, sawubona. In Senegal, nangadef. In Kenya, jambo. In Israel, shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia, assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all.
Is Monday morning a struggle to get out of bed, into the swing of things? Well, don't worry, you are not alone. Join us for thought-provoking, stimulating, and mindful conversations on higher learning with Zelda Speaks for your Monday morning mindfulness session on Blog Talk Radio, The Female Solution, Mondays, 7:30 until 9 a.m. Be sure and send your ideas, thoughts, comments, and suggestions. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, visit ZeldaSpeaks.com and send us your info. We'd love to have you. Experience mindfulness moments with the mindfulness/stress relief coach, Zelda Speaks. And thanks for sharing the mindfulness moment tip of the day. Stay on purpose, stay empowered, and stay tuned to your next session of mindfulness on higher learning with Zelda Speaks. Make it a mindful day. And thanks for listening.
Grand Rising, and thank you for joining us on this Monday edition of The Female Solution. And we are going to be taking a look at something that will be the topic of discussion this weekend as we celebrate the men in our lives on the traditional day of Father's Day. Father's Day is coming up on Sunday, June 17, 2018. And it's a wonderful time to honor the men in our lives who have helped shape our world by performing that very important role of father. Sometimes the father figure that guided us was our biological father. Sometimes he was not. Perhaps he was another relative
maybe an uncle or a grandfather, or even a neighbor. Men who raise and guide children play a pivotal role in our society. When they are absent, the evidence is felt by the entire community in the form of increased poverty and crime, the absence of order, discipline, and respect. How can we raise our sons to be the good fathers so desperately needed in these times? Well, we'll talk about that with our Monday host, Zelda Speaks, coming up at the 7:30 break. And we want you to chime in with your experiences. If you are a father, or if you have been influenced by your father, or if you have not had a father, how did that affect your life? Often talked about the impact of the family. And so many men have fathered children that did not get formal training on how to fulfill that role. And so they had to kind of go through it through trial and error. What am I supposed to be doing in raising this child? What am I supposed to be displaying in terms of my relationship with the mother of my children? And that is often a very highly emotional situation. When two people marry, saying that we are a partnership in the raising of our children, in the support of our mutual, individual, and collective goals, we are a part of each other's extended family of siblings and parents, and we are choosing to combine our families so that we can take our lives forward and give some good to the society together as partners. That's what that institution means. It's a joining of families for the purpose of raising the children that are going to be a part of each family. So that father half of the equation is essential. And when that father half is missing, often so is missing the father's half of the family, his parents, his siblings, his cousins, all of the people that are connected to him that would be a support for the children. Fathers need to be in the lives of their children. And when there is a break between the mother and the father, this leaves an absence in the life of the child who is not seeing that partnership relationship between a man and a woman that helps that child, be they a girl child or a boy child, know how to function in that capacity. Solution. We give several examples of how animals in the animal kingdom handle that partnership that produces children and the family structure that's designed to protect and raise the children, and how important that male and female balance is, even in herd animals where there may be one male and a number of females, but that father role is critical. And in the 7th chapter, we examine a buffalo herd in which a child in that herd is being attacked by a leopard and running for its life. And the father, that male head of the herd, comes charging out and does battle with that leopard to protect that child, while the little calf goes and is surrounded by all the mothers in the herd. And that child is watching the father do battle to protect his life and finally defeat the leopard, because that's what your father does. He fights for your life. He puts his life on the line in protecting you, his child, so that child was saved by a strong father figure. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that story later on in the show. But that is the story that is illustrating the importance of a family and the roles of the mother and father, the mothers that do the nurturing and the fathers that do the protecting, so that the mothers can do the nurturing. And in the beginning story of that chapter, which is entitled, well, of course, if you've read the book, The Female Solution, you know that particular chapter deals with a multiplicity of things, one of them being the fact that our family structures must accommodate the balance of male and female so that all women have access to a father for their children. But one of the issues that gets addressed is the role of fatherhood in protecting children, and it's called Harmony in the Buffalo Herd. That's chapter 7 in the book. There needs to be harmony among women in understanding our collective role of mothering and selecting the men who understand the role of fathering to do the protecting. And we know in our communities across America, there is a challenging situation we must face, and that is the absence of the men in the community to do the protecting. So what has happened is the extreme rise of policing of the communities by people who are not approaching our children with a fatherly attitude, but more like an occupying army, dangerous. And we can't extricate them from our communities until we bring back the strength of fathers in protecting our communities from predatory individuals. So this is what we must do, is strengthen the men in our lives to be the fathers, but we have a systematic removal of the men by a predatory system that takes advantage of our conflicts as men and women to create that absence of men. So how do we go about changing that situation? That's the challenge that we have. Well, Father's Day is a time for us to celebrate those men who have made a difference in our lives by being present. And on our Sunday show on Father's Day, we want you to tune in. We're going to celebrate some men with the first annual Good Man Awards in MAN. The Good Man Award will be presented to 5 men that we have featured on the show that have been a part of our discussion and in their lives have exemplified some basics that we want to promote as good qualities that men should have. And this is something we want to pass on to our sons as we raise boys to prepare to create a different kind of society than the one they were raised in. The sons of today are going to have to be visionary and futuristic so that they can create what is not yet in existence. That's what we say every day. We're changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. So that relationship between men and women need to be corrected so that it is focused on the raising of our children and the combined efforts and that partnership agreement and that combining of families to raise the consciousness of men and women to know that our union is not just about great sex. It's about building a future that transforms the world we live in. So this is the philosophy with which we must raise our sons. And this is what we are awarding these men with the Good Man Award on Sunday during Woman to Woman with Wanda Carter from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So we want you to tune in as we recognize those who have been a source of inspiration for children, and they have shown how that partnership relationship works for the betterment of their immediate family and the community. They have been those kind of men who father more than just their children, but also other women's children by the examples that they set and the roles they play. So we want to recognize them with the Good Man Award. Well, let's go to our phone lines and get your thoughts and share your experiences as a father. What's the greatest challenge to being in these times? And what should the relationship between men and women look like? We know that it's very dysfunctional right now. So as we build the new relationships in the future that are going to empower men to be better fathers, what do we want it to look like? We're building something. So it's like an architect lays out plans for a building. You have to design it. It's not going to manifest until you first visualize it. And then you can draw it out. And then you can actualize it because you have the vision that you have created first in your mind, and you can see what it's going to look like when it's the finished product. So what is that relationship going to look like? Men are in their rightful place and women are in their rightful place, so that children are in their rightful place, all connected and building a healthy society. Well, let's go to our phone lines and talk to Brother Cookie from Chicago. Grand Rising, my brother. Peace and blessings. Thank you for joining us this Monday morning on The Female Solution. What are your thoughts on fatherhood?
Well, this is the problem that we all have. We're missing the counsel of our life. This is why so many of us have a attitude of fighting, an attitude. You know, it's like my daughter. When I wasn't around her a lot, and I would see her again, you know, she would ask me, "Daddy, what do I do if somebody tries to punch me this way? Do I duck?" I said, "What you doing?" "I'll be fighting at school." I was like, wait, fighting who? You know, they be pushing us down and fighting. I was like, "You ain't supposed to be fighting." She looked at me like, "Huh?" I said, "You're not supposed to be fighting. Who are you fighting? Never fight again. You are too pretty to fight." She's like, "Wow, Mommy never told me that." I just saved my daughter a whole world of hurt because her father counseled her. We don't have that counseling out here. This is why This is why men cannot partnership with each other. We're always trying to outdo one another. I'm the big man. I'm gonna be the big alpha man. And this is our struggles. This is what society has done to us. They took the father out of life on purpose. We know that. This is a governmental plot. And now we're in shambles trying to knit it back together. and I see it slowly coming back together because we're begging the woman to say, stop your hurting. Put that child in the father's life. That child needs two parents. They need that two energies. I'll give a perfect example. I just gave a family reunion, and one side of my family I knew growing up, and we're trying to do something with the land that we inherited. The other side, my father's side, I didn't know too well. It's kind of hard for me to get in contact with them. I can't get to the touch of the land, a lot of jealousy and all that going on. So this is what happens to all of our family. We don't have that both sides to pass down land, information, and the right thoughts in our family. We don't have that anymore. That's why we call it dysfunction. And so we're trying to make our dysfunction functional, and it's not working anymore. So it's getting to the point where women are really realizing that they're hurting. They're what you're doing. A child should be raised up. A child should honor thy parents. Okay, it says that in the Bible, and you will have long life. I think that is the Bible verse for this problem. If you took the opportunity of a child from honoring their father, now they grow up hating their father, hating themselves, because you put them in a dishonorable position. That's what I tell women, mothers. That's tough love. That's what I tell them. I don't be arguing with them. I give them that scripture right there and let them figure it out. And they go, oh, my God, I am doing something wrong. I am taking this child and dishonoring their father, and that's why this child is growing up the way they are. And now we have we become what? ADH, mentally ill, all this going on because of that one verse. You've taken out that counsel out of that child's life, and now we have homosexuality running rapid in our young men and our young women. You see? And me, I construct my daughter. The things I tell her, she listens to me and changes at a dime when I speak. She will be missing that. And I'm sorry.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting you mentioned about the fighting, because there has been an extreme rise in violence among girls in these schools. And they notice it's a direct correlation with the girls who don't have fathers in the home that do a lot of the fighting, the extreme aggression. And I would, if I was to analyze why that connection exists, if a person is violent or becomes extremely aggressive, it's really a defense, because they feel that they don't have any protection, so they've got to fight for themselves. And so that's why a lot of these young girls become so extremely aggressive, because there is no father figure in their life, and they also are expressing a lot of inner anger about that. So they become the girls who bully other girls. So your daughter has to ask, well, how do I defend myself? Because I have these bullying girls coming after me. How do I, do I hit back? How do I avoid getting hit? Because she's forced to make that decision.
You know what mothers tell them? Girl, stick your chest out, girl. Don't back down from her. Stand your ground. That's not a father's advice. This is what mothers are telling the children. Stand your ground, girl. Be somebody. Come on now. Don't be like your daddy. Don't punk out. See, the mother is teaching these children to fight. Because they're not going to run up there, and the mothers ain't going to run up there for that fight. A father will run up there. Now, some mothers would. I'm not trying to come against motherhood, but yeah, that's it right there. They don't have nobody, defend. They have nobody to defend themselves. Naima, that's it. And so you have to walk around with defense, with a knife, with a gun, with some spray juice or whatever you need,
Well, it's something that we're seeing in our society that is very alarming. And I talked to one young man who identified himself as a member of a street organization. He said these girl gangs on the rise have become more violent than the boy gangs. And so these girls have a lot of aggression and violence in them, and it's the anger. And I keep telling parents that the anger that you feel and that you express toward each other, you planted it in the children, and they are manifesting this anger. And it's the anger that comes from feeling that they've been abandoned or they've been cast aside or ignored. They're angry at the absence of love. And I don't know how many times I've broken up fights and had to pull a child aside, whether a boy child or a girl child, and found out that the root of their anger was the absence of their father because their mother won't let their father come to them, or their father didn't come, or their mother got another guy who don't like them, all this kind of stuff that has to do with the relationship between men and women being so out of whack that the father is not able to play his normal role in their lives, and they're angry. And they express that anger. I once had I think I probably shared this with you all. So if I'm repeating myself, I'm sorry. But I had I believe in my freshman English class I was teaching, and I had them do a writing assignment to write a letter to the person who has made you the angriest in your life, and say everything you want to say to them in that letter. And I would say 70% of the class were writing letters to their fathers, expressing anger at their fathers not being there in their lives and not being there for their mothers and abandoning them. Anger. And I said, wow. Now, of course, the other 30%, it was, mad at the girlfriend or boyfriend or, mad at the friend who betrayed them. But 70% were writing letters to their absent fathers. And so that really was an eye-opener. So, the last thing before we take a break, what would you say the good relationship between a man and woman should look like in the future? What should we be building toward to show children what that relationship between a mother and father should look like, so that they know how to have the right relationship with the opposite sex when they become adults? How would you describe it? What should it look like?
I would love to be in your class to do that letter.
Wow.
It should look like it started. It should look like what it started. Viewing each other, liking each other, respecting each other. But once we lay down, it changes. Once a child comes, what changes in that person? Nothing. But we have to realize, men have to realize that you are using her vessel to bring a child into the world. So you should always respect that woman. That's the one thing that she can do that you can't do. And if you don't respect that, you're not going to grow up and be a real man. Until you respect that and realize that woman has a connection, something about her that makes you feel, and the connection that you have with her, and she's procreating. She's a procreator. Never forget that. I think every man who thinks like that will begin to exude a different spirit that a woman can see now. Because you see her for not just her body, you see her for her greatness. And until we see each other, continue to see each other like that, there's going to be problems. And a woman should look at a man and saying, hey, this is something I'm going to join, and I'm going to build with this person. I'm not going to look for what he has to build. So that's fine. You can build off of it, but I want to build a partnership with him that's going to help my children, my future children, or my community, or my family, or me. I'm there. That man is there to connect with her to create this reality away from the dysfunction of what we've been, and let's do it right, where we're praying together, where we're being together, where we're agreeing together, we're working together, and we're getting away from the realities explanation of what a parent is supposed to be or a partner is supposed to be, and try to do it in God's way, your own way. Make it, you know what I'm saying? Those relationships that works, Naima, they don't worry about what society is telling me who gonna bring home the bacon or who gonna pay the bills or who should do all that. When you should sit down together and do that together. You understand? on what we have, not based upon society. Not based upon society. Everybody's based their relationship on society. You're supposed to bring home the bacon. I tell a woman all the time, you can bring bacon home too. You understand? Get away from that.
I think that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree.
Sorry.
I think the relationship I agree that our future relationships really need to be partnerships. And if we've got more entrepreneurs working together and building businesses and figuring out how they're going to both nurture the children and both help with the generation of income for the family, I think if we are able to work out that kind of a partnership arrangement, then you won't have people leaving a relationship because they say, well, he wasn't making enough money. Because it's not about us needing a man to make money. Now, we are all educated. We are all wage earners. So I think we as women have to change our perspective on what our role looks like in a male-female relationship where there is a family being built. Well, we got to take a break.
A family is a business. A family is a business.
Yes, a family is a business. Absolutely. Well, thank you for that thought. We appreciate you. We're going to take our break now and bring on our Monday morning host and give you an opportunity for higher learning with Zelda Speaks as we look at Father's Day. So we'll be right back after this quick break. So stay with us.
You are tuned in to the Soulful Chicago Book Fair 2020 Vision Fundraising Campaign. That's right. You can support the vision of reviving Black literary excellence in this city by simply taking your $20 or more and donating it on our website. Visit www.soulfulchicagobookfair.com and click the Donate tab on our homepage, or give us a call at 646-359-6605, and we welcome you, helping us breathe literary life into the South Side of Chicago.
We have an opportunity to transform the whole global society in the next 50 years. 50 years from now, the earth will be populated by a new generation of adults, many of whom are yet unborn. Our mission is to nurture them in childhood with love, guidance, and protection, and to raise them in healthy, happy families. If we impart values of compassion, generosity, and respect for fellow human beings in the next generation of children, they will create a world where people can live together in peace. This is our goal. Be a part of the transformation. Get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. Go to www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com.
Are you constantly arguing with your spouse? Are your children misbehaving and acting out? Is someone in your family abusing drugs? Have you been the victim of domestic violence? Are you grieving over the loss of a loved one? Let us help you restore serenity to your life. At Serenity Family Social Services, we understand that good mental health is the result of emotional well-being. Our goal is to assist you and your family in removing emotional distress and restoring harmony and balance to your lives. We offer individual, couples, and family counseling. I'm Howard Williams, CEO of Serenity Family Social Services. Call us today at 312-315-4820. That's 312-315-4820.
Hi, this is John Alexander.
And I'm Naima Latif. Meet people like you who are making a positive difference in the world.
Big difference.
Watch us every day on The Media Connection at www.youtube.com/The Media Connection TV.
YouTube it. We'll see you soon.
There are people who choose to make a positive difference in the world. Our job is to bring you their stories to motivate you to do the same. Join us each week, host John Alexander and Naima Latif, as we bring you the educators, entertainers, elected officials, religious leaders, and community activists whose works are transforming this world. Find out how you can make a difference too. Be inspired. Watch The Media Connection. Mondays at 5 p.m. and Tuesdays at 12 noon on Cable TV, Channel 19 in Chicago. And other cities, check your local cable listings.
People in Chicago have been crying out justice, quality, fairness from the government for years. And it keeps getting worse. Unfair taxes, laws that unjustly imprison nonviolent offenders. The rich get richer, and the everyday people suffer. It's time for a change. With your help, I'm here to do it. I'm asking for your support as I run for mayor for the city of Chicago.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for mayor.
Grand Rising, and thank you for joining us this morning on The Female Solution. Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks. Welcome to Monday Morning Mindfulness. Start your week off with a mindfulness stress relief session. Hope your weekend was long enough, and if it wasn't, then you're at the right place at the right time to experience something that will help you in the midst of all the madness. Today's topic is Father's Day and the importance of the male role in society. And our special guest today will be none other than Brother Lionel Abdul Haq of Community Cultivations, who has a very unique perspective and one that we all need to hear, deserve to hear. If you are listening online, feel free to send in your comments, questions, or suggestions to our social media, Facebook at Zelda Speaks, as well as Twitter and Instagram. And today's trivia prize is the Diabetic Donut Journal. It is how I reverse type 2 diabetes, and if you or anyone in your family is experiencing diabetes, this is designed to help them overcome that struggle. It is a disease, it is a silent killer, just as high blood pressure and all of the other diseases, and if you don't get a hold of it, it will take you out of here. It took my oldest brother, who just passed in December of last year, December 31st. It took my oldest sister, who passed 20 years ago, and I was on my way, but with the grace of God, something and someone stepped in, and because of them, I am here today. So that is available for you today when you hear the cue to answer the question for today's topic. And please keep in mind that we're always looking for health ambassadors. If you'd like to help someone who is diabetic or is not diabetic, help someone make money on diabetes reversal, how to reverse type 2 diabetes, please go to diabeticdonut.com. And we're always looking for people who like to shop, how to make money on Amazon. Go to zeldaspeaks.com and click on the training link. We've helped the Higher Learning Network, and you can help your organization, for-profit or nonprofit, make money. It doesn't matter. It's available to you both. And remember to set those DVRs for the Higher Learning Network TV show, which comes on Tuesdays at 6, Wednesdays at 1 on Channel 19, or 24/7 on the worldwide Higher Learning Network.org. And this week you'll be able to see it's a 3-part series from May, and then we'll be working on a 3-part series from June as well. But the first one is the task force that was initiated by Dr. Willie Wilson in response to Governor Bruce Rauner's request to help him get votes for the upcoming election. Now, you know that's going to be doozy, right? So you be sure to tune in to hear that. It will be on the Facebook, well, it'll be on Facebook too, but it will be on the higherlearningnetwork.org website, and in the upper right-hand corner, you just click on HLNTV, and it'll be on the Higher Learning Network YouTube channel as well. So when you go to YouTube, type in Higher Learning Network TV channel, and it'll show up. And now it's for our Monday morning mindfulness spiritual reading as we continue celebrating Father's Day and the role that fathers play in our lives. And this is taken from June 9th, and it says, from Inspirational Conversations, 365 Days of Empowerment. That's the title of the book. Inspirational Conversations with Shalomith Israel, a.k.a. Zelda Speaks. And it says, from June 9th, for the men who make a difference in the lives of those who need them the most. Don't stop. Don't even entertain the thought that a positive contribution you make as a man, biological or not, goes unnoticed. Someone is always watching you. What you do today, tomorrow, and forever makes a difference. Stay with it. You've done good. Remain steadfast. Don't be invisible. Be invaluable. Happy Father's Day, today and every day. And I say this especially to the fathers who are not with their children, are estranged from their children, and are having difficulties communicating. Do not let your differences stop you. Use those differences as a teaching tool to build better relationships with your children. Because you may have not heard in the past, I never knew who my father was. So I did not grow up seeing positive male role models in my family, and those that I did see were abusive. And now that I'm older, I overstand some of the dynamics that was going on in the relationships with women and why men acted the way they acted. It wasn't until the movie, you remember the movie Claudine, where the mother, Diane Carroll, had to hide the iron and the clothing or whatever it was that he donated to the house from her boyfriend at the time, which was James Earl Jones. I know you remember that movie. If you have not seen that movie, you must see it. Claudine is a classic. Well, it's typical of how the system, the government has us conditioned to keep the man at bay, and that is not a good thing. And we'll get into that later. But right now, let us do a little Monday morning mindfulness stress relief session so that we can put that type of thought and behavior behind us and open our hearts and have a new experience. Because the experience that you're about to have now is the type of experience that can help you in times of chaos and confusion, when you really don't know what to do, or when you're angry or stressed out or just feeling out of sorts. So let's begin this morning by removing everything from our hands, sitting straight up, nothing in your lap, feet flat on the floor, closing your eyes, and we will begin the breathing process by counting to 6 to ourselves inhaling very deeply so that you can feel your chest inflate. If you are not feeling your chest inflate, chances are you're not breathing deep enough. And statistics show that when the cells experience enough oxygen, they automatically heal the body. And this has been proven years and years ago. Of course, Big Pharma and the government's not going to tell you that because they can't, there's no profit in that. So you learn that here on Monday Morning Mindfulness on the Female Solution. Yes, and we have the solution, so just keep that in mind. So if you're not breathing, if you're not feeling your chest inflating, you are breathing incorrectly, so take your time. This is your moment. This is your special time. And breathe. Inhale to the count of 6. Hold it for a hot second. And then exhale to the count of 6. You feel your chest deflate. And if you're having a problem with that, put your hand on your chest. Or put your hand on your stomach as you exhale. So let us begin. Inhale deeply to the count of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale deeply. Feel that chest rise. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it. And exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As you continue breathing to yourself, inhale deeply. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it. And as you exhale, release, let go, and let God. Continue breathing and counting and sending love, light, and healing energy to each and every organ, muscle, tendon, fiber, an inch of your body. Feel the healing energy that you bless your body with as you deeply and as you exhale deeply. Remember, if you can't feel your chest, you're probably not breathing deep enough. So let's try that again. Inhale deeply to the count of 6. And exhale. And every time you inhale, say something positive to the part of your body that you may be experiencing a challenge with. And as you exhale, release, let go, and let God. Release all the negativity, all the anxiety, all the tension. And when you are exhaling, your body will feel it, and it will respond. Inhale deeply, giving life, light, and energy, healing energy to your liver, your lungs, your spleen, your stomach, the pancreas, the spine. Feel the energy vibrating and re-energizing each and every organ, and giving thanks that each of those organs are working in divine order so that you can continue to inhale and exhale deeply, knowing that every breath that you take is a breath that is a chance for you to get it right for today. And as you inhale, say the words to yourself: I am happy, I am healthy, I am whole and complete, just as I am. I am. Two of the most powerful words on the planet. When you say those words, I am, you have the divine connection to the Creator that placed you here to do the work that you were designed to do. And you cannot do that if you are not breathing and using positive affirmations and giving thanks for the ability to be able to do such. Inhale deeply. Hold it. And exhale. As you exhale, I release, let go, and let God. Inhale deeply. I am happy. I am healthy. I am whole and complete. And I love it. Exhale. Release. Let go. Let God. Inhale deeply. Are you repeating this to yourself? Yes, you are. I am happy, healthy, whole, and complete. I release, let go, and let God. Inhale deeply. I am happy. I am healthy. I am whole and complete. Exhale. I release, let go, and let God. Feel the energy stirring in your body from the top of your head, circling the top of your head, through the eyes, the eyebrows, the eyelashes, the eyelids, the nose, the cheeks, the lips, the ears, down through the neck, and the shoulders. Feel the energy of light, love, and healing energy vibrating throughout the chest and the back and down through the arms and your solar plex and your stomach and the lower extremities with your hips. Feel the energy moving, energizing the body, the buttocks, the thighs, the knees, and the legs, and the ankles, and the toes, and the feet, and the arches. Breathing deeply, inhale deeply. I give thanks for each and every limb on my body that is working in divine order with the consciousness that designed me. I am happy. I am healthy. I am whole and complete. I am divinely guided and directed. Nothing and no one can come into my circle of energy and throw me off guard, because I have been breathing and will continue to breathe to arm myself with the power, with the shield that keeps all nonsense, chaos, and confusion away from me. Inhale deeply. Hold it. And as you exhale, bend the head forward, chin to chest, and slowly rotate it to the left, rotating your head to the left, slowly. Slowly, slow down. You should just be getting to the left and making your head to the back. Slowly, you're moving too fast. Slowly bringing it around. Just getting to the back and slowly bringing it around to the right. Slowly, slowly, slowly bringing it around to the front. Chin to chest, slowly, and reversing it, bringing your head to right. And around to the back, slowly, 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 just getting to the back and now over to the left, slowly. You should just be reaching the left side, slowly, and slowly bringing around your head around to the front, into chest, head up. Inhale deeply, one more long, deep breath, hold it to the count of 6. And exhale. Take a few more deep breaths. Inhale deeply to the count of 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it. And exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale deeply, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold it. And exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Turning your head to the left as far as you can. And now to the right as far as you can. I hope you've enjoyed this exercise, your Monday morning mindfulness stress relief session. If you enjoyed that session, share it with someone, because you sharing it will help someone else, and so on and so on and so on. And be sure and tell them to share it with someone so that we continue the process of healing this nation. Because if one person can calm down, then the world can calm down with it. So during the course of the day, it's Monday, and you take Monday morning, and Monday morning mindfulness, so that before you begin your day, you've armored yourself with a shield of protection that will carry you throughout the day. And any time during the day that you're feeling out of sorts, you simply start breathing. Long and hard, counting to 6. And it doesn't matter if they call you crazy. They'll call you crazy anyway. It doesn't matter. As long as you can calm yourself down, because when you breathe, you are sending positive messages to the body that despite what's going on, it's really okay. So just breathe. And if you have a little garlic and a little onion on you, that will help too. Trust me, they will leave you alone because they don't like the odor. And if they do, that's a good thing too. So thank you for joining us this morning, and share that with someone. If you need more tips, feel free to go to ZeldaSpeaks.com, as well as my YouTube channel, Zelda Speaks Mindfulness. And there are tips and techniques there to share with you as well. If you are joining us this morning, you can call in at 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak. And when we come back, our very special guest, Lionel Abdul Haq from Community Cultivations, will be with us. So stay close, and we will be right back on Monday Morning Mindfulness. And thanks for listening.
I'm Dr. Willie Wilson. Chicago is a big city, 234 square miles. We have 50 aldermen to watch over our neighborhood, but only one police superintendent. As mayor, I will add 3 more superintendents and form separate districts for them to be responsible for, and bringing top management to the police force closer to our citizens.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for mayor.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, executive producer of the Female Solution Radio Show. We are now a part of the online network of associated internet radio hosts, On Air. On Air is a fantastic global guide to uplifting and enlightening online shows spanning all 7 continents. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. You can participate in a conversation anywhere in the world with just a tap on your cell phone. Just go to onaireverywhere.com and tap the lines in the upper right-hand corner to get the days of the week. Tap the day of the week, then scroll down to your favorite host and tap the link to hear the show online. Or tap the phone number to call in and participate in the discussion. It's that simple. Go to onaireverywhere.com on your cell phone and hear the good news about our changing world from the global transformers. We're on air everywhere, online all the time. Shopping is something you have to do every week, whether it's for food, clothing, or cleaning supplies. Wouldn't it be great if you could save time by just pressing a few buttons on your computer and all your shopping was done? All you'd have to do is go to the store and pick it up. It's already bagged up for you. Or just sit at home and wait for it to be delivered. And wouldn't it be great if you got paid every time you and your friends shopped? Well, we can make that happen. We are networking associates independently making affluent households. NAIMAH, NAIMA. Call us at 312-849-3456. That's 312-849-3456. Or visit our website, www.naima.biz.
Are you looking for a heating contractor? Are you tired of paying those high service charges? Or are you purchasing property and in need of a mechanical overview? If you answer yes to any of these questions, we have the solution for you. Call us at Miller's Heating and Cooling. We provide sales, service, repair, and installation of heating and air conditioning systems for residential and commercial customers. We provide affordable prices to fit your budget. If you mention this ad, you can receive a free estimate and free mechanical overview. So what are you waiting for? Call us at 773-444-8432. Again, that's 773-444-8432. And ask for Maurice. We'll do anything to get you hot or cold.
Thank you for joining us here on Monday Morning Mindfulness on the Female Solution. Higher Learning with Zelda Speaks, our Father's Day tribute. And our special guest today is Brother Lionel Abdul Haq from Community Cultivations. Good morning, Lionel. Thank you so much for joining us.
Peace be with you, and to the listening audience, people who are regular and those who are just joining the discussion. I appreciate the opportunity to share, as always, because sharing is what it's all about. You give what you have of value, benefit, and I think everybody will benefit as a consequence.
Absolutely, I agree with that, and our listeners love you, so we had to have you back this morning. And thank you, because you always
I'm surprised I haven't heard from any of them.
Well, lots of times people don't. I learned in radio, in secular radio, that for every person that is listening, there is, for every 1,000 people that are listening, there's one person that will call. And sometimes people are just too busy or too intimidated to call and speak to you one-on-one. I've learned that the hard way. I would think that nobody was listening, and it's the furthest thing from the truth because the numbers prove it.
Well, I mean,
so do not be dismayed about that.
Well, it's part of I think it's part of the growth process. I think being aware of how people respond to what you're doing or what you're making an effort to do, good or bad, is food for thought. It's food for growth. It's encouraging. It motivates, and not getting that doesn't help. And so in the effort of being helpful, the idea of sharing is to not just receive, but to give back, that inhale and exhale is a part of the process of life. So if we just receive and don't let the person or the individual or someone know that they have received something, if you have received something of benefit, then it kind of cuts the process of growth short. It hinders it. And I think that's where we're the whole idea of fatherhood comes into play. And I mentioned, I think last time I was on it, that this idea of following principles may not be very popular. They don't conform. They don't bring you into conformity with a particular standard of what we've been made to believe is what freedom is all about. Freedom of restriction, freedom of direction. That's not the freedom that I understand, and then I think real guidance does not point to that kind of freedom. It points to a kind of freedom that comes and evolves from under the influence of discipline. That discipline is part of the process of life that we learn to conform to a standard, and then we rise above that standard to another standard. And then we rise to another standard and another, just like education, first grade, second grade, third grade, It's a process. It's a growth process. But the freedom comes when you with your evolving through discipline. And we've been misled, bamboozled, run amok, and led astray to the extent that we don't understand anymore the value of principles. And the movie The Matrix that they focus so much attention on in the context of cultural orientation has a powerful message about how we've been misled, about taking away from the principal life that is associated with male leadership, fatherhood, and given over to a self-indulgent, materialistic, carnal, fleshly, sensually oriented lifestyle, culture that causes us to be consumers who indulge every whim and every appetite with absolutely no discipline whatsoever. And that's
where we are.
Yeah, and we didn't get it by accident. And the people who put us in this situation and keep us in this situation, they know what they're doing. It's not nothing. It's like if you look at ancient Egypt, ancient Rome, ancient Greece, right on up to today, you'll see the rise and fall of nations that evolve through this same process over and over again. And we have, in this 21st century, are about to break free from that. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, way. So how would you suggest that we combat that?
Well, all praise is due to Allah. And I'd like to say blessed Ramadan to all the Muslims who've been fasting. This is part of the discipline that is to recognize that all praise is due to the Creator of the universe. I say Allah because I think that the last revelation, that the last book, the last major religious movement to impact the world, plainly expresses everything that we need to understand about where we're going, where we've been, and how we're gonna get there. And it's all based on the reality that if we follow the discipline, if we follow the example of those who came before us, who didn't just say, who didn't just talk the talk, but they walked the walk. we'll grow. And we'll grow right on up into the mature adult consciousness that awaits us in this 21st century. We have to want to grow. We have to want to evolve. We have to recognize, as the young people say, that it's all about getting real, as the young people say. That all this phoniness, all this pretense, all this illusion, magic, hedonistic self-indulgence, the idea that you can just do whatever you want to do, is insanity. And you won't grow that way, that's for sure. And that's the intent of those who want to exploit us, is to keep us from growing, keep us from coming into an adult, more mature.
And how does one do that? How does one do that?
When
that influence is not at home.
You got to practice. You can practice discipline
when
yourself.
That influence is not at home.
Pardon me?
And if you've never had that discipline, how do you develop it?
Well, to know the beginning, from my perspective, the whole idea of fasting is a discipline. It's one of the many disciplines that are part of what we call divine guidance. When God says pray, you should pray. When God says fast, you should fast. And if you do those, God says be clean, you should be clean. You should bathe. You should keep your environment in a clean and safe order. These things are part of the discipline that every human being has to evolve to become a part of who he is and who she is. It becomes what they call, it becomes natural. And that these fundamentals build a certain consciousness. They lay a foundation for a certain consciousness, a consciousness that God knows you will be in once you follow those disciplines. And so there's another level that goes from that, taking your inspiration to study, to learn from the examples of other people who prayed and fasted and who did good deeds, who gave their life for something other than hedonistic self-indulgence, who sacrificed for principles and ideals that matter. And once you study their example, you will grow and learn and gain greater insight even more. But it's not about magic. There is no illusion to life. It's not about you're going to be happy just because. You have to follow discipline. You have to follow guidance.
Since we are on the topic of Father's Day, and there is a lack of male leadership in the home, you and I know that, and many of our listeners know that, but then there's a lot of our listeners who don't have what I just mentioned, and they don't know how to, and the importance of fasting and getting quiet and reading the Word and understanding the Word and how that moves them closer to the Creator and closer to their divine purpose here on the planet. It's a challenge, as you said, because we've been bamboozled. But luckily, those who are searching and they have found that and are continually seeking that. One of the events that I attended over the weekend, well, not the weekend, last Friday, was the HWPL and the Sound of Peace in Chicago. You probably hear the promo here on the Female Solution with the director of the Chicago chapter, and I don't want to get her name wrong, so I'm going to look up. And Naima, you can chime in on this. Is it Lynn Shu? I don't want to get her name wrong. But it was held at the Willis Tower, and I just want to say the Sound of Peace in Chicago, the DPCW, the answer for the cessation of war and world peace, which was Thursday, in which we honored many Chicago leaders. It was hosted by John Davis, president of John Davis Media. I think you probably remember John Davis from Channel 2. He was there for 20-some odd years. But it was the third annual commemoration of the WARP Summit. And some of the leaders who were celebrated and who spoke there, and forgive me if I get this name a little mispronounced here, Osama Jamal, who was the Secretary General of the U.S. Council of Muslim Organizations, Kareem M. Irfan, an attorney, judge of Circuit Court of Cook County, Stanley Hill, also M. Wasuila Khan, Chancellor of East West University, Nafis Muhammad, Imam of the Mosque Cares, and Audrey N. Keener, television host of Today, Audrey K., and our very own Naima Latif spoke there as well, founder of the Latif Media Connection. And yes, and those were just some of the people that honored. Also, Dr. Willie Wilson was honored as well as a peacekeeper, of those who are trying consistently to make a difference in the quality of lives of people living here in Chicago and abroad by doing what they do. Also, Diane Latiker, founder and CEO of Kids Off the Block, she was there, but many, many others. But I just wanted to mention those because there are people here who are really have their heart and soul in the best interest of the people in bringing peace to this world, because we know that the powers that be don't have that agenda. They have the agenda of profit. I'll just leave it at that, because there's money in war. And there was also a video, South Korean HWPL chairman Man Hee Lee. There was a video with him when he was bringing sounds of peace to Chicago and the USA. And, might I add, in the May issue of the On Air magazine, The Female Solution, Why North and South Korea Must Unite. That's on page 11 by Naima Latif, who was honored there as well. Wonderful. The Sound of Peace in Chicago.
Yes. Oh, and
the HWPL.
If I may, yes, and if I may,
yes.
This is Naima Latif. Yeah,
That's Naima Latif.
I'll send I'll send your guest. Walaikum salam, brother. I will send you a digital copy of the May 27th edition of On Air magazine, so you can see the individual she's talking about. The publisher of the magazine, John L. Alexander, was also honored as who uses his craft in the furtherance of peace and so forth.
Yes.
And also Judge Stanley Hill, who does wonderful work with the children at the Rainbow Push Coalition. He teaches them, he helps them memorize some major people who have been award winners with the Nobel Peace Prize winning speeches. Of those addresses and some of the world's most renowned, he teaches these to children, and they memorize these words. It's ingrained in their hearts, and he elevates So he was given an award for his works. And Queen Mother Reverend Helen Sinclair for prison ministry, all not just in the United States but overseas, where she ministers to those who are in prison, and some of them serving life sentence, horrible crimes. Some of them have been in there and are innocent. But either way, she brings a ministry that helps to while they're behind bars. So she was also an honoree. So we really had a wonderful time. And director Shin Suk Kim, that's the director. She also gave an address, but it was an opportunity to connect with a community of like-minded people who want to transform the world that we live in and change it so that it's not focused on profit making and benefiting from the misery of others and driving people to lives of crime by denying them to live in the right to work with dignity and as our sister says about what they did with the men, removing them from the homes so they don't have to struggle alone with children because the government will only pay you benefits if you have. They make sure they pay you more than that they're going to pay the man to work. They pay you more not to have a man. So we got sense of fatherless families, and now we have young men who don't know how to be fathers because they didn't see because the government destroyed our families, like you said, on purpose. So now we have to rebuild and figure out how to reach that scale of fatherhood. So I'm going to send you a copy of that magazine. You should receive that in your message shortly, and you'll be able to look through On Air magazine. We thank you for being our guest today.
I would love to be interviewed by that magazine if possible, to talk about some of the things that I've said here on the radio. Because it's I've been a big part of the issue of as I said of growth is not getting exposure, not getting encouragement from others, and those who have mediums. I used to work with the Muslim Journal. I used to work very actively with the Muslim community of Imam Waratadin Muhammad. But one of the problems has occurred in many situations. Politics affects people's judgment. And justice would demand that we follow the discipline of due process when people are excommunicated or charged with wrongdoing, so that they're not persecuted or prosecuted and eliminated from being, as it was the case with Brother Malik Shabazz. So the fact that I haven't heard from people, despite the work that I've been doing for as long as I've been doing it, is discouraging. It's disheartening. It doesn't help the process of us, making the world a better place. And so, as I said earlier, it's not. The worst thing that can happen to me, from where I understand it, is for me not to get an opportunity to do what it is that I think Allah has blessed me to do. And that is, I've been blessed with a bit of insight about what's going on in the culture. And I really try very hard to share that. And I think if more people focused on that, we could get to the heart of the problem. The tree in the garden was not a real tree. It symbolized culture. And when you mix truth with falsehood, when you mix good with evil, you get the fruit that will kill the human spirit and handicap and cripple our development. And that's what has been happening. that's what continues to happen. And I really think that all the people who you mentioned at that awards dinner could be of big help if we could, and I could be of some help to them if we could get together and work together.
Well, I think our executive producer, Naima Latif, can make that happen. But I want you to be encouraged to not be discouraged about your work because Allah sees the work. And that's the most important.
That is the saving factor. That is the saving factor. That's what keeps me going. You know, it's not the rewards of of what I do comes from knowing that it has value. And that I'm doing everything I can to put it out there. And so,
also,
that's.
And also the wonderful thing about this digital age, in the magazine copies, we also have the links to our radio. We can also send you the April 15th edition of On Air Magazine. We did interview with Judge Joe Brown and a number of others in the magazine where we did the radio interviews. And our hosts, such as our sister here, Sister Zelda, interviewing you, then we put the link in the magazine so people story, and then they click on the link and hear the radio interview. And so it's a multimedia publication, and this is to read about you and hear your words. So we can attach the story. We can put in the next edition, put your story with whatever she wants to focus on. Story right about you. Put it in the magazine. Add your photo, and then add the link to this interview. So whatever you said, they've heard it. You have let them know how you feel. That you've been a strong supporter of the community. You've done work. You have made your and are feeling maybe a little bit slighted because there seems to be a distancing, and you're wondering where that's coming. So you put it out there, and sometimes things need to be said, and you never know if it's misunderstandings, if it's hurt feelings. People who may not feel good about themselves have difficulty in the good works of others, and that's what's known as jealousy. So don't ever your words by someone else's reaction, because however people treat you is a reflection of how they feel about them. It's nothing to do with you.
All person lives to a fact. I mean, from a historical standpoint, and especially from an Islamic standpoint, the history of Islam is very, very instructive, and the establishment of court systems, due process, for example, didn't begin with the United States of America. It didn't begin with Europe. It began with the establishment of justice under Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the judicial system that he set up that required people to have an opportunity to face their accusers and to have opportunity to hear and have testimony on their behalf. And that is a big, big problem when it comes to politics, because those who administer power have the ability to influence people in ways that deny justice and undermine due process. And very few people have the strength of character to stand up and say this ain't right when you're talking about people who have power. And this has been a problem that I'm hoping we can get past in this 21st century.
Yes.
I agree with you wholeheartedly because we're dumbed down. Wonderful. Let's. It's about 8:30. We're going to go to commercial break and then take those callers. Is that okay with you, Naima?
Yes.
And our first commercial will be from a young man who was honored at the HWPL event. So we're going to go to commercial break. Now we've got a message from you from Dr. Willie Wilson, who is the Chicagoland candidate for mayor for 2019. I'm going back. Let us move forward as we take this commercial break and we go into and hear a word from Dr. Willie Wilson. Thank you for listening and joining us here this morning on Monday Morning Mindfulness on the Female Solution.
I'm Dr. Willie Wilson. Neighborhood school are the hearts of a community. It's where our kids learn, meet, and make friends. Friends they know in school and then associate with after school. It's where parents connect with other parents. Closing schools changes this and make our kids stranger in an unfamiliar neighborhood. Together, let's find a solution to reopen our schools and help them flourish.
Paid for by Willie Wilson for mayor.
Are you having challenges with your 2-year-old who has suddenly discovered they have a free will and has learned to tell you no? Are you having challenges with your 8-year-old who has suddenly learned how to tell untruths in order to avoid punishment? Are you having challenges with your 13-year-old who has suddenly realized that they know everything and you know nothing? Parenting is a challenge. Our children are here to learn and grow in understanding so that they can reach their highest creative potential and contribute to a new world of peace and harmony. To do our part as their teachers and protectors takes wisdom, patience, and skill. Join me, Naima Latif, and facilitator Mark Shahid on the Parenting and Family Reconstruction Learning Lab every Thursday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central Time on American Muslim 360 Blog Talk Radio. Tune in at www.blogtalkradio.com/American Muslim 360. Call in with your questions at 515-605-9891. That's 515-605-9891. Spare the rod. Love the child.
Hi. This is Maika, and I want you to join me every Thursday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And let's talk about it. There are so many interesting things to talk about, and we have many thought-provoking discussions. We have amazing guests on the show, and you'll find real transparency, a really peaceful environment, also a healing environment as we do EFT and other healing modalities to bring ourselves into congruence and balance. It's also a child-friendly environment. And we have an open mic. All you have to do is press 1 to be heard and to say what you have to say. No fear, no fake, real truth. That's what you'll find on my show. Visit our archives at The Female Solution on Blog Talk Radio and listen to past discussions that are intriguing. Call 505-615-9325. Invite a friend and listen in, and I'll see you then on Blog Talk Radio. Let's talk about it with Maika every Thursday.
Do you want to live in a world without war? Join our global peace movement. Heavenly Culture World Peace Restoration of Light transcends culture, religion, ideology, and other boundaries to achieve peaceful harmony in the global society. HWPL is committed to bringing world peace and cessation of war through peaceful dialogue between religious groups. I am Director Shin-Suk Kim of the HWPL Chicago branch of North America. Join us for our next gathering. Call 773-580-1501 and be a part of the movement for world peace. Email us at chicagohwpl@gmail.com.
Cultivations. Thank you so much for staying with us, Lionel. And if you just joined in, you'd like to join the conversation, 515-605-9325, and please press 1 to speak. We know you want to speak, but you can't speak unless you press the button. Press number 1. We're celebrating Father's Day and the importance of having a father in the home and how it makes a difference in the quality of life, not only in the immediate family, but the extended family as well, because if a man is in the house, he's in the community as well. And in our communities today, there's a lot of chaos and there's a lot of confusion. It's not, Brother Lionel, because we don't follow the principles.
You say it's not because we don't follow the principles?
Lionel? Yes, sir.
No, I think it is. I think that it was, the whole process of slavery, the whole history of slavery, especially the slavery that we're talking about that produced the situation that exists in the modern world today, is based upon a willful and deliberate execution of a plan to separate us from principles. And the principle of history, of having the knowledge of your past, of your ancestors, of your traditions, your culture that have been passed on from generation to generation, is a major problem as to why we're in the situation that we're in right now. All the problems that we have today didn't just happen today. They are the consequence of the things that happened yesterday that affect us today, and the separation of the whole destruction of the black family is at the root of all the psychological and sociological problems that affect the world today. And we got to get back in touch with principles. We have to get back in touch with, and the number one principle is respect for the creator of all things, the recognition that there is a God, that there is a Allah, that whatever you want to call, that this is not without guidance. And all we have to do is seek the guidance sincerely, and I think it'll be very obvious where it is. And we have to practice the ideals of faith. It's not just enough to say you believe. You have to do what the direction of the faith dictates. And then you'll come into even better understanding. As well?
as they said, show me the money, or from Missouri, you got to show me state. You got to show me. So let's put it online.
That's just natural law. You know,
Caller ending, your number ending in 4065. Welcome to the Female Solution. Your comment or suggestion this morning. Thanks for joining us. What's your name?
My name is Alan. Good morning.
Good morning,
Hello.
Alan. Grand rising to you.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Okay, I
What's
called
your comment?
today. Okay, I called in today to speak on Father's Day. I want to first of all encourage the young man to let him know that, you know, just because people aren't responding, that the atmosphere is still moving. And he is also correct in that we do need support and we do need encouragement in our work. So I just wanted to put that out there. And for Father's Day, I would like to say that a lot of times people whose fathers were not in their lives, that their father did the one thing that he was meant to do. And that was to get you here. There comes a time in our lives
Amen.
we can no longer say that I'm this way because I didn't have a father, okay? I appreciate that, and I understand that because I did have my father. But in the process of having my father, I never really had my father because he had the idea of working and providing was being a good father. And it is. But it left out an emotional part that even though I'm in my later years, I still want him to come to a baseball game. But I have to remember that that will never happen. Mm-hmm. So now I have to go into the point of, can I have a relationship at whatever level it is with my father at this particular moment? And I want to encourage everyone to know that who've been hurt by their fathers, I need for you, even if he's no longer with you or on earth, we need to forgive him in our hearts. Okay? When we forgive him in our hearts, it will begin to readjust our thinking to the process of where do we go from here. We've gotten here systematically, okay? But we have to begin to appreciate the love of a father. Fathers have to realize that a lot of times we don't know how to be a good father because we never had a good father. Children don't come with books, and we are forever learning. My last comment is, if we get our children out of the Chicago school public systems and we begin to teach our children on one accord, I believe that we'll get the thing turned around almost immediately. Thank you, and that's my comment.
Oh, thank you so much for
thank you for those comments, Phil. In the issue of father, you know, again, all of our problems are rooted in our history, and the solution to those problems, I think, require that we get back to principles and discipline. I think it's there's a great lesson in the story of Samson and Delilah. One of the reviews I did recently, it talks about the use of the division between male and female, in the family, as part of a process of domination, and that when we start working together, men and women, we'll be much better off. The solution to the problem is not, I don't think, a male solution or a female solution as much as it is a unified solution.
I agree wholeheartedly with that, Lionel, and I also agree that in order for any of this to be possible, we have got to learn to forgive our fathers. When Naima made the statement about her having that class and had her students write a letter. I wasn't in that class, but I was in a class that gave me the opportunity to write a letter to someone that I needed to forgive. And the first person that came to my mind was my father, whom I never knew. And I grew up being very angry at men for not having a father, and then feeling abused by men for whatever reasons. But the fact that what she said about 75% or more of those people wrote that letter. And the result of writing that letter, I came to the realization of what that caller just called it and said, that the fact that my father did his work, he got me here, and the rest is up to me. He did his job as a father. I thought, and my mother may have thought, and other people may have thought, that he should have been around. But as we know, as we grow older and we learn things and realize that he was at the right place at the right time doing the right thing, he did what he was supposed to do, and he made his contribution to society by placing me here. Now, my mother and other extended biological family had to raise me, but he did his job. And that was what he had to do in order to keep his sanity. And in order to keep my sanity, I had to forgive him because I hated men with a passion because there was no man in my life. And I thank God that I finally got to that point. And I pray that some of our listeners who are listening who will get it as well, that it's not about him. The fatherless figure in your life is only an instrument. He's a teaching tool, a lesson in forgiveness, and a lesson in many other things, but especially a lesson in forgiveness. And to be thankful that you're here because of the father that you may or may not know. So thank you for my callers calling in and sharing that information this morning, because someone somewhere is going through the same thing, because there are a lot of children out here today who do not know who their fathers are. So thank you, my callers, for sharing that information. Because without fathers, where would any of us, where would anybody be? As Robin comedian, the late comedian Robin Harris used to make a joke about test tube babies. It makes you wonder, it really makes you wonder. So I am very grateful for the fact that I'm here and don't know who my father is. But the real father is the father who guides me through the course of the day, the creator. And you can always call on that father without fail. And the answers are there. We just have to be quiet long enough. Turn off the external voices, the radio and the TV and the cell phone and the iPod and the iPad and everything else that goes along with it. So we just got to spend a little quiet time and learn to love self. And part of that is forgiving. That's a whole other show. As we said earlier, it's like drinking poison and expecting the person to die.
Yeah. Well, in the context of go ahead.
No, go ahead. I just said, you can't hold grudges because the other person has gone on, moved on. They've forgotten all about it. If they thought about it at all, you can't drink the poison and expect them to die. That's not how it works. The acid eats away the acid of hatred. And forgiveness eats away at the individual. That's why we have stomach ulcers and cancer and migraines and gangrene and just all kinds of illnesses or dis-ease within our bodies.
Yeah.
Pardon me, a couple of more callers.
So happy Father.
Before we go, if you want to take
it. Father. Yes, we want to line. Thank you for joining us, Brother Kofi. We have another caller on the line. Thank you for calling the Female Solution. Monday Morning Mindfulness, your comment or suggestion?
Yes. Shalom, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay.
Thank you.
You know, what you just said is that your father put you here and he did his job, and that is true. But let me tell you my revelation for telling my daughter that I told her, I said, I'm your daddy, but I'm not your father. And she scratched her head, and I told them again, my twins, and I let them realize that I was raised without a father, okay, just like a lot of us. I had to depend on the God in me. So now they know to depend on the God in them and not me, not their parents. And I think I use my example to help me share that with the next generation, okay? Because we are hurt of not having fathers, and we need healing. And so sometimes you heal yourself with your revelation. Yes, it's the principles, which is the key. I am applying the principles, you see, by speaking. So principles is key. What that brother's saying, it is true. You live by principles. So it's about getting us healed right now. We see the hurt, and it's in all of us. All of us have been under this control mechanism where the government has set this system up to break our families down. So now I'm not blaming my mother and my father. I'm thanking them for bringing life to me. I'm not blaming my mother or father for nothing, because I see the back story, the hidden hand, is the government that's playing on this, that's setting the situation up, that's giving us the ideas and attitudes about how to keep the father away from the families and all that, and we all have that instilled in us. You know, I saw a sister yesterday. I saw her she was with her baby's father, and the daughter was laying on his lap on the bus, and they were sleeping, and she was looking like, you know, she was looking at the situation like she just didn't want to be there. She's Yancy, you know. And I was like, wow. And I said, you know, that's beautiful that your daughter can be with her father right now. I said, that's your healing. My sister, I told her, that's your healing, because you allowed your daughter to see her father. That's the healing right there. You know, we can talk a good game, but at the end of the day, how many children? You know what I did when I found my father and my father's parents? I looked on the Illinois Correctional Facility, and because every man had been arrested, and my father was arrested, I got his picture. I started right there. Then I found my family after that. Okay? So, yeah, this is part of what I went through as a hurt child coming up without a father, you know? And we all have been through that. So that's just my little piece to the puzzle here. But at the end of the day, what we're really trying to get is to change the mother's minds. And we see their hurt. We see the hurtness of the mothers right now. We don't see healthy mothers anymore. You know, their whole vibration is off. And what that is that we, at the end of the day, we need to let them know, share that child. If the father has to talk with him on the internet or a phone call or a letter, open up the relationship between try to, if you know where your father, the baby daddy is, you know, but try to. At the end of the day, we want these children to reconnect with their fathers and their father's family, whether it be the cousins or the auntie of the father, you know, someone in that family that connect that child to, so that child can get to know their father's family. Now, just, you understand what I'm saying? A cousin, an auntie, his sister, you know what I'm saying, your grandma. Because our grandparents are our ancestors. Don't go back further than that. They made your parents. See, I got it right. My ancestors ain't all these biblical characters in the Bible. That's not my ancestors. Okay? My ancestors, my grandmama, my granddaddy, who took me to church. You know what I'm saying? That's my ancestors. We need to wake up and get all these fictitious characters who say they are ancestors. They're not your ancestors. Your ancestors, your grandparents. They made your parents. Doesn't that make sense? So, yeah, put that child in that father's life so that child can see the other side of the family. And I'm telling you, what that brother's saying, and get our children out of these schools and start teaching at home, that's where we're going with this thing. This thing is real. They're teaching our children LBJ classes right now in the high school. Did you know that there's a petition to get Rahm out? He can't run for a third term. Governor Quinn got a petition for a 2-term. He got the vote, so we vote on it on November 6th during the election, that we'll have a 2-term governmental official. They can only serve 2 terms, and Rahm cannot win. That means we will have a new mayor of Chicago.
Thanks so much, brother. We got a couple of more calls to go, but thanks so much for your thoughts, as always. We're going to take another couple of calls before we go. And caller at 5373. You got a minute or so? Go ahead.
Hi, I listened to the program, and I think the problem is that we have to get rid of the negative spirit. And I believe we have to reach back to our ancestors. We have over 48 generations of ancestors' power that we can call upon. And, not to mention, without saying, we have God, whether you call him the Most High, Allah, the Creator. We have him. Now, they may have the guns and all those things that make us afraid, but what we have is we have our spirit and our ancestors. And if we can all get back to that speaking the same thing at the same time, words are powerful. And that's what we have that we need to get back to. We were all taught in school that, the Africans, the slaves, when they came over to America, they beat at the drums all at the same time. And that got the Europeans afraid. So they changed things, and they did it on a Friday evening, Friday night. They changed everything to Sunday. The point that I'm making is, if I'm saying that we're going to make this and we're going to be successful, and we have faith and believe in that faith, I think that's where it's at. When you talk to your average person, they're going to say, oh, we ain't going to do that. We ain't going to do that. And what we fail to realize is that we can do this thing, but the goal for them is to keep us so down and afraid and keep us angry. Because as long as you're angry, you never reach that level of happiness, and you never see the flower bloom the way it's supposed to. And men, they have it rough. I'll give them that. We all have it rough. But, they have it where they grow up and they're expected to see a jail cell by the time of 17. The only job that they would give them, is they can sell drugs. It's a threefold. They make money off of them selling drugs. They make money off of them if they go to jail. They make money off of them if they die because they got organs. And they're only messing with young men, so their organs are just that fresh. Yeah. So my thing is, the sister,
we're about to round up. Thanks for your call. We got a second before we wind down. We got one more caller to get. Thanks so much. We appreciate it. We're going to see if we can squeeze in Minister Plump before we go. And thanks so much, brother, for calling. You got about 30 seconds.
We are in Yah Shalom. We don't die, we multiply, Black Power forever. And I'd like to give a shout out to all the fathers, especially my fathers, my biological father, like Kufa said, your grandfather is definitely in your. My grandfather's the one that really made a whole difference in my life. And also I'd like to just mention the spiritual part is honor God, honor your father. That's what the Word of God says. Honor your mother as well as the elders. And when we do that, then we're putting ourselves in a positive way to have a relationship with our fathers, our grandfathers, and all of the uncles and the cousins. So I'd just like to also encourage everybody to purchase their own Air magazine by the Female Solution.
Thank you.
You all
and
have
may
a blessed
peace be
day.
upon you and the mercy of God
God bless
and
your heart.
God's blessings.